My obsession has been with songs. I'm not a sound guy, I'm a song guy. I want to make the best possible song with the band. That's all I care about. There's a lot of records I grew up on that probably doesn't sound that great, but the songs are great and there are classic songs. There are records out there that sound immaculate, they sound perfect. If the songs are awful, no one cares. It's about the song. My name is Will Yip. We are in Studio 4 recording right outside Philadelphia in Conshohocken, Pennsylvania. My thing became, all right, since the song is paramount, what gear do I need that helps me elevate the song, track the song in the most accurate way, and truly, what's the gear that can let us capture the song the way we want to capture it? When I got these trios, my mind was blown. It was life-changing for me. If I just send music through it, I know what I'm gonna get. All gear should be like this. All gear should just make things easy. I tell bands, I want to be as involved as you want me to be involved. And an artist would say, you wanna come in on a writing session? I'd be like, I'm there. And we come in and we take their ideas and collab and co-write and build it up. And I'm in it from jump one to the final product. I wanna be involved as early as possible. But wherever I do jump in on a record, I'm gonna try to make those songs the best I can. And that's why artists trust me. I think the special thing is what I can help get out of the artist and what the artist can get out of me. And we create a special record together. I feel like with the right nurturing, a song that's 80% could be 100%. So I just wanna help give them that extra push, that extra bits that I think could help elevate the song. I'm from Philly. It's a big part of my story. I spent, my entire life in Philly, and I grew up, listening to hip hop. I grew up listening to punk records. As early as I can remember, from when I was like 6 or 7, I would get records from my brother, whether it was Fugees records or Boyz II Men records, Aerosmith records, like records that just spanned every genre. I put the CD in and I opened up the booklet and just read who worked on it, the lyrics, everything. And I always saw recorded at Studio 4 recording in Philadelphia. And I was like, oh man, this is crazy. Some of my favorite records were made here in our city. And as I kind of just fell in love with making music, when I was really young, I was a drummer. Me and my really close friend at that time, we went to the studio, saved up all of our money for a day worth of recording, and went to the studio for 5 hours, and I fell in love with this. I fell in love with the studio. I fell in love with making records. Took over from when I was literally 12 years old. I knew that's where I wanted to be. I wanted to play music, I wanted to write music, but I wanted to build music. I wanted to be a director. From then on, I just wanted to work in studios. It was a goal of mine to end up at Studio 4, but it was like a pipe dream, because at this point, Billy Joel made records here, Bob Dylan made records here, to Miss Lauryn Hill, it's literally my favorite artist. So I'm very grateful that I have that opportunity to not only be here, not only to be able to make records here, but to kind of continue a legacy here. My goal, man, I think anyone that works with me knows that I'm just looking out for my artists. At the end of the day, we are making records. We are helping artists make their records. Engineer, a producer, whoever, record labels, management, they're gonna work on 1,000 other records. I know that after I finish this record I'm working on right now, next month I start another record. On the other side, that artist, that band, they're gonna be lucky if they make 6 records in their career. I'm gonna make 16 records this year. I think producers and engineers really overlook how important a record is. That artist has to live with that record for the rest of their lives, and they have to play those songs for the rest of their lives. They have to sing those lyrics every night, I know how important that is. It's cool that people have their lanes. I back that. I really back that. That, you have engineers that are engineers, that they just want to engineer great sessions, engineer great artists, and capture great artists. I never had that lane. I was never able to focus on one thing my big focus was just the macro. I can't just hand off a record to someone and think, oh, it's gonna be cool. You know, I like to be involved from the jump to the very plating of the record when it comes out. If it wasn't for the songs and if it wasn't for being in love with songwriting, I wouldn't be doing this. I have no interest in just engineering and just capturing or just mixing or just mastering all day. I need to be in the song. That being said, all the tools around me, I invested in a very expensive studio. I invested in a lot of tools to help elevate those songs. When I got these trios, it was like everything made sense to me. I rarely talk about recording gear and pro audio gear this way, but it was straight up inspiring. You know, it was like getting my first Black Beauty snare drum, when I was a kid. I'm like, this makes everything easier. I sound cooler, quicker. Aside from being able to get my balance right and being able to get my balance quicker on the trios, it just applies to all the genres of music so well. And I know everyone says they work on a lot of different genres of music, but I actually do. From Miss Lauryn Hill to Code Orange, those couldn't be two more different sounding artists. And those tracks, both their tracks, speak to me the same way. And I can just grab onto things so quickly. And I've always had a hard time having music, all these different genres translating, and not just translating, but me understanding what's coming out of the speakers. I never thought of gear like that. I monitor at pretty low volumes, when I'm home, because I'm mixing all the time. But when I'm monitoring with the trios, I can monitor low, and it's like equal loudness doesn't exist to me. It's like everything I'm hearing at any volume almost sounds perfect. It translates to any other speaker. The low end was so big and so clear. Usually when I mix lower on old speakers I had, the second I take it to another source, it was a little quiet. This is the first time I felt confident after printing a mix. I fully knew what I was printing. I remember printing the Tiger Jaw mix. I didn't feel like I had to go to my car. You know what I mean? I didn't feel like I had to check in the B room. Which I usually do. Every mix I print, I check around and make sure things are speaking right. I couldn't be more confident. I was like, if this sounds good here, it's gonna sound good everywhere. The trios really just inspire me to create. And that's how I know when I have good gear around me, is that I'm inspired to make music. I can't see myself mixing and listening or monitoring on any other speakers other than these trios, probably for the rest of my life.